Welcome to the Orion Sportscast Podcast, the most refreshing analysis, insight, and opinions in the world of sports. Here are your hosts, Josh Egan and Brandon Waterhouse.
We are joined today by a very special guest, Samantha Ridgewell from Toronto Six. We're super excited. Thank you for coming on. Samantha, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Why don't you tell us about yourself, where you've played, where you play, where you're playing, all that good stuff.
All right. So, way back when small town hockey started, played in a couple small towns in the area, and then eventually moved on to AAA with the Saskatoon Stars. Then did 2 years at it's a school called the Notre Dame in Saskatchewan. It's a private hockey school. So that's where I went after that, and then graduated there. And then going there kind of got me the I can't think of the word. Sorry. The kind of people were able to actually watch me play some good hockey down there. So then Merrimack College found me, and then I continued on there, committed and signed, and went there and played 4 years down there in Hockey East, and then luckily found my way over in Sweden for last season, and then now I'm over here in Toronto.
Perfect. So we want to go back. We're going to get to the bubble and the Six and all that. So we're just going to go kind of back to the beginning, not too far. But so kind of when you were growing up, and I'm sure you watched hockey on TV, or you had heard of players and goalies.
Yeah.
So who were some idols that you looked up to, and did you interact with any of them? How did that impact you in any way?
So my longtime goalie idol is Mika Kiprasov with the Calgary Flames. I was a little lost when he retired and didn't really know who to cheer for after that, but he is actually the reason why I'm number 34. Just growing up, I always loved watching him and loved the style, and I thought he was the best goalie in the world. So I'm sure he's one of the reasons that I became a goalie, just
Right.
from watching all the late night Flames games, and then as for like interactions, I was never really lucky enough to really meet any. Not that I could think of. I don't think I ever got to meet any professional hockey players firsthand, but maybe one day I'll meet Kiprasov still. There's still hope. I might have to go to Finland to do that, but
yeah. Well, that's a pretty good idol to have. He was a great goalie to watch, and he was a little bit. I didn't get to see him that much, but when I moved here in 2003, that's when I started watching hockey. So I don't have to do much memory of that.
Yeah.
But so growing up, you said it was a small town. Did that impact like the travel schedule? How much access did you have to ice? Like how was that?
I think it was tougher on my parents than me, honestly. I come from a family of 4 kids, and all of us played hockey at the same time. So lots of times we were getting shipped off, lots of carpooling, because once we got older and started playing like female hockey, like you'd have to drive sometimes hour and a half to meet up in the middle. So that everybody had a long commute to get there. So I think it was tougher on them. I mean, I didn't mind. I just did my homework in the car or slept on the way to practice. But
so
I liked small town hockey.
Yeah, that's honestly, I kind of want to even bring it back. Josh said we didn't want to go too far back, but why don't you tell everyone where you're from, like the city, like the small town that you're from? I don't think we even went over that.
So I'm from small town. It's called Outlook, Saskatchewan.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was doing some digging, I guess, and I saw that you actually were pictured with Darcy Kemper. Now, where is he from, and what's the correlation there with that picture?
So I'm not sure where he grew up exactly, but like I started meeting him at the goalie school. There's a goalie school in Saskatoon that we both started training at.
Right.
I think he had been there for a long time, but I went there and then met him. So I had to take a picture, and I'm sure you saw the one that's on my Instagram. That might be the one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then, so just he'd come out a couple times a month, sometimes just for mentoring us, which was awesome. And then I also ran into him a couple times at the gym too. So I have chatted with him a couple times. So I guess that would be my professional run-in.
Yeah, I saw, and I went on his Instagram, and he's all about the Riders, like the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and he's and to mention that, like recently, I don't know if you probably have seen it, but like the full outdoor rink. Did you see what they did on the Rough Riders field with the pure ice all over the CFL football field? It's one of the biggest outdoor rinks there is now.
Like right now?
Yeah, they
Josh,
just did it.
you see that too? Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they announced it
Mosaic? Is it
yesterday.
Mosaic?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mosaic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Mosaic
should have
Stadium
gone.
flooded the entire thing, and now it's the largest outdoor rink in Saskatchewan. This happened like over the weekend. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
tell my
man.
family to go. I just got back to Toronto today, but maybe I could
Perfect
go when I
timing,
get back
yeah.
in March too.
Well,
So
perfect.
you played your, I guess you can say your school career over in the States, and I don't want to butcher the name of the schools. Can you just say it again for me? I always butcher it.
It's good. Merrimack College.
Merrimack
Merrimack.
College. So
Yeah.
what was that like playing there and just kind of the process of getting into that school?
Yep. Well, I loved it. I would definitely recommend that school. It was nice and small, which I liked growing up in small towns. There was only about, I think, like 3,000 kids there. So, I mean, which was still big to me, but
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine going to those schools that are like 60,000 people. I'd get lost on my campus sometimes. It wasn't very big. But yeah, it was good. I loved it. The coaches were great. My teammates were awesome. It's like cheesy. I feel like everybody says it, but like you really do make lifelong friends in college.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your numbers here for the seasons you
Mhm.
had there. They're pretty impressive. They get better and better every year.
Thanks.
So
Yeah,
that
I was seeing that too.
yeah, that program works then, it looks like.
Yeah, they have great coaching there.
Good. Who coached you there?
So the head coach is Aaron Hamlin, and
Okay.
then Steph Moberg was there for 3 out of my 4 years, and then I had a couple different assistant coaches that were just coming and going and moving on to other programs as well. But then my senior year, I have to give a lot of the goalie credit to Chris Hall. He came in and he was my full-time goalie coach. So
Well,
I give credit to him.
it seemed to work because then you went over to Sweden. Was
Yep.
that much of an adjustment? Like, because it's new culture, new language, or how much adjusting did that take?
It actually wasn't as big of an adjustment as I thought it was going to be. Luckily, a lot of them spoke pretty fluent English, and they like to practice their English. So like within the team, it wasn't that bad, but like just walking down the street, or like I actually found going to the grocery store was the hardest thing because you'd have to sit there with Google Translate, scanning every single item, trying to make sure you got what you need. So like the team was great, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but like traveling, getting to play over there in the league, it was all phenomenal.
So did they reach out to you, or did they see you play, or how did that work?
So I reached out to them. My head coach, Aaron at Merrimack, had actually played USA hockey with the U Garden head coach at the time. I don't even know how many years ago. So there was a small contact there. So at least I wasn't getting sent over to a complete stranger, but I had originally emailed the teams over there and sent some game film and got that started that way.
Nice. So, where did I go here? I just closed the tab. All good. So, let's get to the good stuff. So the Toronto Six, they are an expansion team in the NWHL. We're really excited about it because now we have women's hockey back after, unfortunately, the CWHL folded. So now we have that option back here. So an expansion team, not many people get to do that. What's that been like so far since the announcement of the team, you joining the team, the process it's been through? We see you guys got a new change room. It was all decked out. I love that video. It looked really cool. And then you're obviously playing at Canlan Ice Sports. So what's that been like, the whole introduction to the team?
Well, I'm not sure if you know, but this is kind of the second expansion team that I've been on. So Merrimack, I went there as a first year program too. So
yeah,
and you could say I have a little bit of experience in the new program area, but it's been good. Like I love the support that you get from the fans. And I mean, you said it yourself, you guys are excited for a team in the area. And we can tell that a lot of people are excited for a team in the area. So we feel that, and we read the social media and the support that we're getting. And it's just too bad. I feel bad that we can't get any home games this season, but I feel like it's just more anticipation for next season when we actually get to play at home to see like the support in the stands. But it's been awesome so far. The team is great. It's been tough getting to know people and getting to practice with the COVID regulations and stuff like that, but we're making do with what we got. And then I'm excited to get together at the bubble because that'll be the first time we get some real bonding.
We're talking about the selection process and how you reached out to the team over in Sweden. How was the selection and the recruitment process to the Six? Like, especially with an expansion team, like, is it a draft or?
So there is a NWHL draft, but that's just for recent college grads. And I think there's 5 rounds. So obviously not enough to fill. It's not like an NHL expansion draft or anything like that. So the process was actually pretty similar. I actually just emailed Digit, sent her the same game film, and kind of got the ball rolling from there. And then she reached out to previous coaches that I had and kind of vetted me that way. But
yes.
I remember the draft was coming up, and I think it was a couple hours before Toronto traded the first pick. I was like, oh, okay. But it seemed to work out. It worked right over to Boston. But it's obviously it's been a strange start to the season, and the excitement levels building. We wanted to see, because ever since the start of the team, like the reveal of the name, the jerseys are probably in my top 3 cleanest jerseys I've ever seen, especially those white ones.
You like the white ones the best?
I love the white ones, and I don't know if a goalie likes a white jersey because the puck will mark him up. But
yeah, I got to go with the black. I love the black.
I love those white ones. They're really good. But so the excitement's building. But how's your excitement since the announcement of the bubble? And obviously, since the bubble was announced, it's just kept rolling because you get a TV deal for the last 2 days of the tournament. I guess we could call it a tournament. It's at the Herb Brooks Arena where Miracle on Ice was. Like, what's the excitement with you and within the change room and the players?
I mean, I feel like when it first got announced, I almost didn't even really know what to feel. Like, I was excited to finally get some games, but I didn't really understand the true importance of the bubble. But now, as you said, seeing all of the deals be signed and all the promotion that we're getting, it's more than just a random little tournament in Lake Placid. It's a big deal, and I'm learning that more and more every single day as the owners and the high up people of the NWHL continue to get us these big deals, like the NBC one. That was huge.
That was massive.
And then hearing the reactions from my family and stuff like that, I get all the texts saying, okay, now this is business. I want to watch you on TV. Which, I mean, the goal all along is to go all the way anyways, but
yeah.
Now we got everybody else making bets on us too, saying you better get on TV. So I'm excited.
Do you guys have your schedule for the tournament yet or no?
I don't think it's been released yet. No.
Okay, because I know I'm assuming you play everybody once kind of in a round robin, and then
that would be my guess.
Yeah. That's just kind of I just remembered that they had said it was 5 games. I didn't know if the schedule was announced yet.
No, I don't think so. Hopefully soon.
Okay.
We can start building those kind of rivals and I was
gonna say there's teams all over. I know Josh and the Buffalo team Josh has ties to the Bills, so
yeah, it's all over. But so the getting ready for the bubble. When you guys fly in or drive in or however you get there, are you going to have to quarantine when you get there, or is there any rules around that? Do you know?
So I think the plan is we have to get a test before we cross the border to get down there. And then the plan, I think, is to drive so that it's just a more secure, we only really see each other. It's just kind of going to be an extension of the bubble. So drive down there. I believe that we get tested when we get there. And then I think waiting for those results, I think we have our mini 24-hour quarantine where we're in our rooms. So that's going to be kind of weird. And then I think after that, I believe we get tested a few times a week and just kind of go from there.
So it sounds like you're going to have a lot of time to kill while you're down there because you're not going to be allowed. The whole point of the bubble is to stay in it. So you're not going to be able to leave. So what are you going to, you going to bring anything with you? What's your plan to kill time down in the bubble?
So we've kind of been brainstorming slowly over group chat, what we're going to do. And I think we're going to bring a couple PS4s. I own Rock Band, so I think we're going to get that going. Yeah. And then we've found that we're all big into card games. So I think we're going to do that lots. And I'm going to bring some puzzles, just stuff like that to kind of get an escape from hockey, because it's going to be a lot of hockey in those 2 weeks. So I think it's important.
I got a quick question, actually. That's funny that you mentioned the group chats, and especially with an expansion team and a new team, right? You have no one, the leaders are kind of unknown, right? And within the locker room, they're people have to establish that. How have you seen that right now go? Is it the older people or the young ones taking a step up? How does the situation right now go? Who's taking leadership roles?
As of right now, I'd say mostly the older girls are stepping up, and a lot of them have been coached by Digit. So she's kind of they've been an extension of her as well, just because they know her coaching style and they just know her better, especially like a person like me. It's tough. Like the only time you really get to have a conversation with the coaches is when you get to call them, and like she's been having Zoom meetings. So it's different in that aspect. And then also the girls that have played in the league before, they've really been stepping up too, but it's actually just a very mature group of girls. So it's more just logistical stuff, like who's in charge of getting the diet plan for while we're there, and just like the dress code, like stuff like that. Yeah.
That dress code, I want to see the most like outlandish thing possible. Like I don't want to see, I want to see something I haven't seen before. Let's break
kind of get like the Drake representation up down there.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Sorry.
A fur coat. Got to get like the
Fur
Drake
coat?
representation in the Six. We got to do something down there.
Yeah.
Canadian
bring it.
tuxedos.
Oh,
Think of our best.
tuxedos. Could you?
Yeah.
So
My
obviously with this NBC deal, it's huge.
Yep.
What can the viewers look forward to watching, not just you, but the whole tournament?
Mhm.
So
well, like you always hear about like, oh, there's no hitting, there's no like fights in girls hockey and stuff like that. Sorry. Excuse me. But I think that comes from a lot of times people that haven't actually watched a girls hockey game. So I think it's important to just give one game a shot, because you realize that it's actually a pretty skilled game, because you can't just go take the open ice hit. Like you have to be able to take, like, I mean, there is still like contact, it's just you can't take the open ice hit. So there's still it's a contact game, but you have to, there's a little bit more skill to it, because you can't just go run somebody into the board to take the puck away. So I think that's something that they would see and probably learn to love, because it is a very skilled game. And like the passion, I mean, all of us, the women's hockey's not where we want it to be. Like we're still have to work and stuff like that. So there is that passion that like, you have a long day of work and then still have to find the energy and time to make it to practice, but we do it because we love it.
yeah.
So that passion and commitment is there, and you'll see it at the bubble too. And especially from the last few months of not getting to play, like the passion and the energy, and like I feel like we're just going to come out on fire, all the teams, because it's been so built up for so long. So I think it'll be really good hockey.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So who are you most excited to play? Who are you most nervous to play? You don't have to give away any secrets, but
have you guys done some research? Do you guys have film on many teams?
Maybe the coaches do, but I haven't seen any film so far. I know they've asked me to do a little bit of like statistics digging and stuff, just like Excel spreadsheets and getting that stuff, but I'm only about halfway through, so I haven't fully finished my research. But I'd say I'm probably most excited to play the Buttes, just because Buttes and the Riveters, because I had my best friend Dominique Kramer's on the Buttes, and then Paige Voigt, another Merrimack teammate, is on the Riveters. So
right on.
yeah, that's probably my personal rivalries, just because I know them pretty well. But as for like dangerous players and stuff like that, I can't really comment on that yet. I'm not really sure. Yeah, but probably the Buttes. That'd be my rival right now.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I don't know. I'm trying to decide who your rival's going to be. It's either going to be the Pride or the Buttes. I can't.
Well, I feel like Buttes maybe because we're closer, but there was a lot of heat going down on Twitter a couple weeks back with the Pride. Yeah, so it might be Boston.
I don't know who's running that social media account, but they might be. I hope they're not running both. I know, just arguing with themselves, but that'd be kind of funny. There might be some Twitter bombs thrown.
Right. I think that, the social media is going to be pretty funny during the bubble. I'm sure it'll get pretty heated.
Oh yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. And I think that also brings like such an extra like area of views, like people from Twitter. It brings a whole different aspect of people who can comment on it. They might not watch it on TV if they don't have the time, but they'll comment on the Twitter, because Twitter's so interactive. And then all of a sudden, you guys are trending. That's what we're hoping for.
Exactly. Well, and I think she's done a good job. Our social media person, her name is Alyssa. Got to give credit to her, because she does a great job.
Good.
But I think it's good that it's not all just straight hockey content. Like she's got a lot of funny memes and stuff like that. Yeah. So you're getting to viewers that might just scroll through a video of practice, but then they start looking at our Twitter account and they're like, oh, this team's pretty funny. Like, and then you kind of get hooked that way, and then you learn to love hockey. Yeah.
Right. It's no, it's definitely been, the Twitter game's been at the top of the league for sure. So how do you guys, when the puck drops, how do you think you're gonna do? Because I think you're going all the way, but what can we expect?
You think so?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm a total homer. But what can we expect realistically? Do you have any idea?
Well, I appreciate the support, and I mean, like since day one, like the very first time that I talked to Digit on the phone, like her question was like, if you're gonna play with me, like, are you ready to win the cup? And with way more excitement, as you'll see later on in the season, I'm sure. But that, like, she asked that all the time, like every time we're doing a tough practice or something like that, she's like, this is for the cup, like we gotta get through it, like so I think that's been installed in our brains this entire time. So I mean, the goal is to go all the way, so we're gonna give everything we can to make it all the way.
Well, we hope you do. One final question, and I'm gonna ask Digit the same thing when she comes on. That's the first time I've announced it on the show. We will be having Digit Murphy on.
So you'll see your excitement next week.
I got a question after you, Josh.
Okay. Do you think, you're at the Herb Brooks Arena, I'm sure we all know the Miracle on Ice speech. Do you think she'll deliver something like that? And can you see her doing that exact speech, but replacing the team name, just all the games?
Honestly, she probably would be the one that memorizes it and does it. But she, like, the speeches that she comes up with are really good on their own. So I'm sure we'll get some type of Miracle on Ice speech every single time we get to the rink.
I love it.
Which is good. It's good motivation. She's really good at motivating us all. So,
it.
I could see her bringing that speech.
Quick question here. Josh and I, two quick questions. It's more of a personal preference, especially with a goalie and an athlete. So Josh and I are going to do a little bit after this on our favorite pump up songs. So just give me 2 or 3 of your go-to songs that you can put in
here.
your headphones.
I got my playlist right here. It's actually the same songs every single time.
That's perfect.
Where's my playlist? Haven't listened to it in a while, sadly. The one that I actually listen to all the time, that I do my like mental, like mental pictures and imaging, I guess. It's called Split by Tiesto. Not sure if you've heard it. Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. There's like not very many words, so it's good. You can focus.
No. When he played that, he headlined Veld a couple of years ago. This is going back to the days where I partied too much, but the crowd went wild for that one.
yeah, I love it. And then just a lot of Tiesto, some Martin Garrix.
Right. So you mentioned the mental
Bigfoot,
listening to music. I know goalies, just like stereotypically wise, are known for their superstitions. So what are like some of the things that you do to get ready in the hallway before the game? We always see like CBC taking videos of the guys putting the tennis balls off the wall. What are your type of traditions? Yeah,
so I do that too. It's more of just like an extended warm up. Like, I don't know what would happen if I didn't do it. Like if it is a superstition, like I just always find time to do it. So I guess it is kind of a superstition. But as for other stuff, just the classic, like put like right skate on, then left skate on, same music, like nothing too crazy. Nothing too weird. I know everybody always says goalies are super weird, but I feel like my superstitions are pretty.
Clear the air on that too, because goalies are people too, and they have emotions.
We're not that weird.
That's a little different than my beer league routine, which involves a couple drinks before and then rushing to get my skates on. But to each their own.
Yeah, true.
Okay, well, it's been great having you. We really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah,
thank you for spending the time. I know it's especially with moving into Ontario right now in the middle of what we are in. It's not like you do have time to do other stuff, but we know sometimes a podcast with some guys you don't know are the last things on your mind. So we really appreciate it. We want the attention to the Six, like we really do. So we want Drake to represent you guys too, maybe one day down the road, like the Raptors.
Thank you. Well, and no, I'm honored to take the time. I'm glad that you guys are putting in the effort to get us the viewers and promotion. So I thank you, actually.
Thank you so much.
Sure. No, thank you for coming on. Okay, I'm just going to stop the recording, and then if you just hang around for a second, we'll just say goodbye. All right, we'll be back. And we're back. That was 10 minutes for us because we were so hyped from that interview. We kind of had to calm down a little bit, but honestly, that energy is carrying over. We want to just send a huge, huge thank you to Samantha for that interview. That was amazing. Please consider supporting the Toronto Six and the NWHL in total, no matter where you're watching from. They really need our help to get going. They can't have fans in the building this year, unfortunately. So consider what we're doing. We're going to have a cardboard cutout in the crowd. You can buy jerseys, hoodies, hats, all that stuff. Just consider donating or buying their merch or anything you can do to help. If you can't donate, then just tune in to watch the games. The players need eyes on the games. You can watch their games on Twitch, or the semifinals and the finals will be on NBC. We're not sure where they're going to be on in Canada yet, but I know a deal is coming. I have a feeling. Anyway, let's keep the energy rolling. Brandon, there were some signings in the NHL. Do you want to hear what they were?
I'd love to.
Okay, let's do a quick game here. I got a good idea. I'm going to read them out quickly. All I want you to say is good or bad, and then I'm going to move on to the next one, and then we'll go in depth to more of them. Good? Sound good? All right, ready? Okay, Corey Perry with the Habs, 1 year, $750,000. Good or bad?
It's good.
Andreas Anastasiou with the Kings, 1 year, $1.2 million. Good or bad?
It's good.
Mike Hoffman with the Blues on a professional tryout. Good or bad?
It's good.
And Craig Anderson with the Capitals on a professional tryout. Good or bad?
It's bad.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll get to that. Okay, so Corey Perry with the Habs. I have my thoughts on this. I want to hear yours first.
I have a couple thoughts just because of what the slander's been towards, like, everything that happens with the Canadians has to go back to the Leafs on Twitter, especially when
Leafs live rent-free in every fan base's head, and honestly, I'm here for it.
the correlation of what I saw and the reality of the Corey Perry signing was that people thought it was to combat Wayne Simmons or like make a even comparison in what Montreal and Toronto tried to get in like tough guy players, right? Like it's not a comparison. It's really not really. It's a 1 year deal, league minimum. I'm not too worried about it. He'll do a couple things, but who knows? Yeah. He's kind of.
Well, here's the thing.
For a shortened season, he'll have his impact and he'll be a really good asset. So it's good. But
you know what?
There's no comparison. Yeah.
He's an older player on the decline, so a shortened season may help him because he was fantastic in last year's playoffs.
Exactly.
But here's my thoughts on this. If the Habs got him to combat the Leafs' new toughness, which honestly isn't that tough, it's just some added what they call grit, right? Like Simmons isn't going to go out there with his main goal to drive somebody's head through the ice. It's going to be to work hard in the corners, get the puck to the middle of the ice, and so somebody can get it in the net. And then if something comes up, he's there to help that. Same with Bogosian, same with Brody. Joe Thornton can even step in there. But the signing of Corey Perry, Habs fans on Twitter, does not make you a cup favorite, nor will it ever make you a cup favorite. So stop tweeting that because your team is not a cup favorite. They're not even a top 5 team in the Canadian division right now. Sorry, that's harsh. They're not a top 4 team in the Canadian division right now. Okay? So get that out of your brains. You're going to go 7-3 against the Leafs this year. You're going to squeeze 3 wins out, 2 of them in overtime, and one of them is going to be a 1-goal game where our backup goalie starts. So get your act together. Flip it.
Go Leafs. Next signing, Andreas Anastasiou. I like this because I know that he has a lot to offer. He's young, but he's kind of been tossed around the league now. I know he's a Canadian, he's local, and he's kind of a hard worker, but he has a lot of skill too. He had some highlight reels over his past couple seasons, so I just hope he can get more ice time.
Right, he's a fast player. He can control the puck. He had some rough luck. He played in Edmonton. I think there was some injuries involved as well. He couldn't quite get things going. So I think this 1 year deal in LA is going to be good for him because he can carry a load on a top 2 line role. And I think LA's kind of, I got to give credit to LA here. They're kind of thinking outside the box because a player like this, I believe, if Quinton Byfield makes the team, Anastasiou is going to complement him very well, right? Because Byfield's a big body who can get to the front of the net, and Anastasiou is going to get that puck to him. So I liked the signing. I thought it was good value, 1.2 million, 1 year, no commitment on either end. I liked it. It was good.
So we got Hoffman signing the PTO.
Okay, so the Hoffman deal, I have an inside scoop for you. The Hoffman deal on January 13th is going to be signed for 5.2 million
You heard it here first, okay?
for 1 year. It's going to be between 5.2 and 5.5.
How do you think he'll mesh with that lineup?
30 goal scorers, a 30 goal scorer. Right?
Okay, then we got Anderson at the Caps. Want to hear why I don't think it's great? I just don't think Anderson's that good.
So, okay.
And I don't think that Ovechkin's going to want someone like who's below mid.
Right. So I'll play devil's advocate here. What other options did the Caps have? Because their only other option was waiting for the waiver wire. And because of the position they finished in last season, they might not get first pick at a goaltender on the waiver wire. Right? So you take the best goalie available who's not signed, who for them was Craig Anderson, sign him to a PTO, see how he looks, and then you offer him a contract. But again, the thing with a professional trial contract, which I mentioned in the last episode, is there's no commitment from either team. The Leafs could come out of nowhere and offer him a contract and then just run a duo of Anderson, which would actually be pretty funny, but that won't happen. But it's just an example, right? He's not under contract with the team. He's just on a tryout contract. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
That is what it is. I like the fact that the Capital have Phoenix Copley because he's just someone. Like they also have a couple other younger prospects, but I just think the age and Anderson kind of plays a factor here.
Right. So a couple other NHL stories. Henrik Lundqvist, I'm sure most people have seen this by now. He is having open heart surgery to repair a medical condition he had. We really hope that he does well. There's not much news here to talk about, just an update on Lundqvist. But over in St. Louis, they named a new captain. Ryan O'Reilly is the captain. And Vladimir Tarasenko was not happy about this. Did you see this story?
Go on. I did not.
He has been quoted as saying that you be here for 8 years, you expect to be named the team captain. Now, first problem with that is not a captain's mindset. So I see why he was not named captain. Like,
where did this break?
This was yesterday.
On Twitter or everywhere?
I saw it on Reddit and like there were multiple sources. I saw it on Twitter.
Did you see him? Did you see the video of him saying it, or was it just?
It was
people
a written interview. He had an interview.
Verified. So yeah, wow, that's
kind of crazy. Right? That's like some NBA level stuff in the NHL.
Well, and you don't see that often. So, I mean, he's hurt, right? Like, I would be hurt too. Trust me. I would play less years in a junior team and expect to be the captain. And this guy plays 8 years in NHL and wants to be the captain. So I don't really necessarily disagree with his viewpoint, to be honest with you.
But does a good captain expect to be the captain?
But not when you're at the professional level. So, like, at where he's at, like where I was at, it's a different story, right? Like, you can act out. You can be kind of immature in the sense of what you want and don't get. Because you're not being paid for it. You can, in my terms, I took that as a source of, okay, well, I'm going to speak up for what I want, whatever. Right. But when you're Tarasenko, you do have to know what you say carries weight, right?
Right.
And especially
if he's been there for 8 years, it's going to carry weight anyway.
Right. And especially if you're the superstar on the team.
Right. Oh, I just think it's kind of out of line for him.
I think that there's also a misconception that the best player maybe should get the C or something. You know what I mean? Or maybe the most tenured player should get the C. Like maybe it's just the characteristics of Ryan O'Reilly that makes him the captain.
No, I think it's a great pick for a captain.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's not a great pick. I'm just trying to talk about what it sounds like if we're the managers and like Tarasenko is on our team and he says that publicly. Like, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking this guy's a hothead who's in it for himself.
Even after 8 years of pretty loyal service.
Yeah. I mean,
then we don't have much else to say.
I just think like I was kind of disappointed by the comments because I thought highly of the guy before that, and then I see this, I'm like, dude, come on, like, and I'll probably get over it in a week. Like, but I mean, that team's going to do well either way. It doesn't matter who has the letter on their jersey. Like, we shouldn't get so heated about who's the captain of a team. But it's like, I'll use the Leafs, for example. When they went to name a captain, I thought it should have been Morgan Riley. And it was John Tavares. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Right? And like, we all know it was going to be Matthews, and that whole thing happened. And it was moved to Tavares. But it is what it is. And I think Tarasenko will get over it. Maybe he can use this to have a great season, like the fuel to the fire. Be like, you know what? You don't want to name me captain. I'm going to put on a show this year and show you why I should have named you captain. And he has the chance now to step up and even be an even bigger leader. So, you know, it's an opportunity he can take.
Let's move on.
So what is your opinion of LTIR cap relief? So long-term injury reserve cap relief.
What is there a limit?
So a player is injured for, I believe, more than 10 games or 28 days. I think that's it. Don't quote me. You can put them on long-term injury reserve, so their cap hit does not count against the cap. So Kucherov has gone on LTIR. He will go on LTIR at the beginning of the season. So his 8.3 cap hit won't go against the cap.
Right. Well, if it's a strategy that's been put into place, I think that it should be used. Sure, it's kind of a loophole, right?
Okay, so let me propose a situation. I have a player. He breaks his leg, has to go on LTIR. He comes off the cap. Okay, that's fine. He was on my team. You have a player. They break both their legs. I'm over the cap. I trade for you, your two players. So they come on my team. I put them on LTIR so I can slip under the cap. Is that not a loophole? You should not.
Explain that.
The Tampa Bay Lightning traded to the Ottawa Senators for two players that instantly went on long-term injury reserve, putting them under the cap because they were way over.
The Senators?
The Senators traded with the Lightning. The Lightning were over the salary cap, and because of the trade, they were able to put two players on LTIR, who they traded for, and now they're under the cap. That is a
right,
loophole.
because that's because they got rid of Paquette and someone else, right?
Right. We talked about the trade last episode.
Yeah.
That seems like a little loophole.
But is it though? Like, what about the quality of players you're getting?
I don't think it should matter. I think to put a player on LTIR, they should have at least played like 10 games for you or something.
I see what you mean. Yeah, but it's management, right? Like it's almost like Monopoly at that point. Like, where can I get rid of money? Where can I shed cap? So it's about.
It's fucking genius by the Lightning.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of a loophole. It's cap circumvention.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? And you know what? Good for them. They got under the cap. I want to see them play. Like, it was great. I just saw it. I was like, trade for two players and then put them right on LTIR. It's like, all right. I mean, they're not officially there yet, but
Josh Egan staying close and connected.
Yeah, like I'm connected to the Lightning.
Let's what do you want to jump on the NFL real quick?
Yeah, I'm sure you all saw the scores. Bills with a huge win last night. Josh Allen.
Most recent thing, yeah, the Bills.
Breaking records. Just an unreal game by the Bills. I'm not going to rub it in anybody's faces too much, but the fact is the Bills run the NFL. I don't care what you have to say if you're a Chiefs fan. I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if you live in Kansas City. The Bills, we're coming for you. We looked so good last night. We're the first team since 2000 to sweep the Patriots. So, and the ass whooping we had.
Stephon Diggs broke like 5 records this year for the Bills and the NFL.
So did Josh Allen, man. What? Okay, let's go outside of football because we like to go outside of sports and look at like the broad prospect of things. Josh Allen had that fund for his grandmother, right? That just crossed $1 billion because a fan who lost his, I believe it was his grandfather.
You say billion?
1 million.
Oh.
I might have said billion because I was thinking bills, but 1 million. That wasn't billion. But that fund just crossed $1 million because a fan donated $204,000 that they inherited from a family, and they donated it right back into the hospital. Like, that's what Josh Allen and the Bills are doing for the city. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff. And I feel so bad for Buffalo that they can't have fans in the building right now, because that place would be rocking. And I know for a fact you and I would be down there for a Sunday night game against the Pats or any team.
There'd be game over on the streets that night.
We'd be there at 8 a.m. jumping through tables and shit. You bet your ass we would be.
We'd be bringing tables like Pat McAfee, just right underneath the ring.
Just with a name of each player written on it.
On the other team, yeah, on like the Patriots, just smashing through Cam Newton tables.
Yeah, there's a War Games reference for everybody. Yeah, so the Bills lay a hammering on the Patriots. Did you see the video of Bill Belichick absolutely whipping the phone?
I love seeing Bill Belichick have emotion, to be honest with you, because it's just something you don't see, and at least to see that he's evidently frustrated with one of the worst records he's ever been a part of, right? So, What do you think? Do you think Cam Newton's gone?
Yeah.
It was only 1 year anyway, so why not go looking somewhere else?
He's going to Washington.
I hope so. I hope he gets another chance regardless.
So why do you think he's going to Washington? Because they just did what with their QB?
Haskins?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
They waived him. The 2019 15th round pick. 15th overall pick, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So he's gone. He was waived. On-field play, off-field antics. It's a shame he's gone, but they had to do it just for the betterment of the team. The team already went through a scandal this offseason with their name, and they had some stuff we're not going to get into on the show because it'll be here forever, but look it up. And the Washington football team are trying to better themselves, and I think I can see Cam Newton landing there on a 2-year deal or something. I don't have any insight on that, but I think it's a good fit for him.
That would be a good fit for him, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with his old coach.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think he's going to land there. So we'll see what happens there. So I want to close with the Cleveland Browns because I have a lot to say on that. So let's get we touched on the Bills and I talked about the Chiefs. So let's look at the Chiefs. They had an interesting game this weekend. Did you see that one play they did where before they snapped the ball, they did a spin, and then and then Mahomes was the one receiving the catch, but he got picked off or denied or something like that. Are the Chiefs just screwing around at this point?
What was that play?
It was entertaining to watch, but I think I didn't just screw it around.
You'd think so, honestly, but who's calling that play? I know Andy Reid isn't doing that.
I think Andy Reid is definitely calling that.
If that's the case, then you can practice all those silly things, but who knows? You practice it to see if it works, right? So.
Yeah, it didn't work.
But it seems very midget, not midget, like type novice midget levels of football.
Yeah,
type play.
I know what you mean, but I don't know. It's just people were comparing. They said, "Why did the Chiefs pull this, but it's okay for the Bills to pull a fourth down fake punt?" Well, there's a difference.
Huge difference, I'd say, obviously.
A fourth down fake punt is a set play. You don't do a spinner-rama QB sneak or whatever the fuck they called it against a team you can clearly hammer. And they didn't win by that much.
No.
The score wasn't impressive. It was, I have it here. That's why I write them down. I didn't write the score down. They only beat the Falcons 17-14.
I see that.
So, I don't know. It was a weird play to me. It just kind of stood out. I was like, why are they doing that? If the Chiefs want to make a Super Bowl run, would you rather make a Super Bowl run by doing these fancy trick plays or by honestly just hammering teams?
You like to practice good, hammering teams, really.
Don't develop bad habits against easy opponents. You did not see, and to relate it to the World Juniors, which we totally forgot to touch on, the World Juniors, talking about the World Juniors, Canada did not start doing the flying V against Germany. They kept up. They rolled out the first power play unit and all that. So, keep up the good level of play and don't try and do that, whatever, that went to eat shitty stuff. Miami Dolphins quarterback situation. They pulled Tua from the game and put in Fitzmagic, also known as Fitzpatrick. And he was able to win the game for them. And it's been announced that in week 17, Tua is going to start against the Bills. Well, make your mind up, Miami. Like,
I mean, Fitzmagic for the Buffalo Bills would be something to watch, but it is Tua's team. I think he should be starting.
I just think it's weird, right? Like, pick a quarterback.
Yeah, obviously, it's like this weight. This when it's this late, you're like, why are you still announcing your quarterback every week? It should be the same
17.
one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, I thought that was weird that the Miami Dolphins are still doing that, and it led to some frustration in the fan base, and that frustration can kind of be reflected in Houston with JJ Watt's comments about his own team. Now you sent me this, and I saw you probably watched it since you sent it to me. What did you think about his comments? I thought they were powerful.
It feels like it's just, I've been in. It feels like I've been in that situation before, but in the NFL, it's just like he's calling someone out on his team. That's for sure. Like he is not someone, maybe a group of people. He's definitely like, it's not every. I mean, yeah, you're going 4-9, right, or 4-11, whatever they are, right? So sure, you're looking for ways to explain to the fans why you're losing, but at the same time, if you're JJ Watt, like all pro defensive player, if you have to hold a press conference where you're holding your teammates that accountable, it's like they seem like your teammates seem like they're still in high school. It sounded like they just weren't showing up to practices or workouts on time. Like it just didn't sound really professional.
Yeah, it sounded like he's trying to get the attention of management and say like, hey, this is what's going on here, guys. You got to pay attention to this because like my team aren't showing up. I'm showing up. I'm doing my workouts. And I believe he is. He's a dedicated player who, he puts in work and you see it in the off season all the time. And I don't know, just.
He does a lot for the community as well. Like he does charitable stuff. So why would he want to show the community that his charitable donations go to waste if there's a poor football team in the area? It's like he has to represent his name at a high level because he puts money into the Houston area.
Right. And I loved how he talked about the fans saying they show up here every week, win or lose. Like we're paid handsomely for this and they're not paid to be here. They paid to be here. So I love what he said. And I hope it resounds with the team. And,
resonates.
Resonates. Yeah. Tomato. But
moving on.
Let's quickly go back to hockey. IIHF, the Czech Republic did beat Russia. That has really messed up Pool B, or the pool that US, Russia, Sweden, and the Czech are in. US are currently playing Czech right now. I can't see the score at the moment because my TSN app is loading. But what's just been your overall thoughts on the World Juniors at the moment?
That was a great, exciting moment for the World Juniors overall last night because it was kind of an upset, right?
I wouldn't say an upset because it's been tough to judge Germany because they haven't had their full squad. And last night was a really good game. Like it was probably the most entertaining game of the tournament, maybe compared with Czech and Russia. But yeah, it's been an interesting tournament, is what I'll say.
You were all over it. You couldn't stop sending me updates about it. So you tell me what you thought.
If anybody was watching that game, coming out of it, you can say that Tim Stützle, not Schultz, Tim Stützle, I fucked that up last episode, is a hell of a player because he dragged Germany to that win. And Germany did have a little help because Slovakia was undisciplined and Germany did get served some penalties, but I thought that was a hell of a game last night. And I was really entertained by it. I love the World Juniors because hockey's on pretty much half the day. You get to see players you don't normally see. It's outside of your typical junior hockey, QMJHL, SHL, DM.
There's a lot more pride on the line.
Right. And these players, they feel the pressure. They're playing for their country. So I loved it. some games have been crap. Like, honestly, if we're being honest, watching Canada pump Germany 16-2 wasn't like the best thing I wanted to see. Like, would you rather see Canada win 3-2 against the US or watch them pump Germany 16-2, right? Like,
It's not TV, right?
yeah, like a win's a win to win, I guess, but still, but I don't know. It's been fun. We did get an update on Kirby Doc, who will be out 4 to 5 months with a wrist injury. He had successful surgery in Chicago, and he'll be back with the Blackhawks in 4 to 5 months. So that's how it is. But
One last thing.
I just want to line something up for you here. Austria and Slovakia. And I don't know if this will happen. I didn't get an answer, but as you know, with the World Juniors, the bottom 2 teams in each pool, they kind of head for a playoff game.
2 out of 3, no?
2 out of 3, the loser gets relegated to division down. Now, there's no relegation this year, but there still might be relegation games. I haven't got an answer on that. But Austria and Slovakia could be heading for a relegation round, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Well, who would come in next year? Oh, no one would come in.
No one's coming in. It's going to be the same teams next year.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't know how that'll work.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. We touched on this quickly, but the NWHL got a TV deal. The semifinal games and the final game will be broadcast on NBC. It's going to get more eyes on the game. We're really excited about that. Samantha touched on that with us. If you didn't see that interview, make sure you get to it. Although if you just skip the interview, you're kind of a dick. Go back and watch it. One more NFL story. 2 more NFL stories. Russell Okung wants to be paid half his salary and was paid half his salary in Bitcoin. What up with that?
Yeah, Bitcoin is, I'm not too familiar with Bitcoin. I have a couple people that I know that like use Bitcoin, invest in it, and watch the stock, but I think it's something that maybe you'll see more of. Do you think?
I thought it blew up a couple months ago, then kind of died off. I don't know what's guy wants to be paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right, about it. It's a trendy, not trendy, but it has variances, I'm sure. So for someone to ask for that, that's, they have to be pretty sure that they're going to get that return at the same value, if not more, right?
How much was his contract, do you know? Probably a couple mil, right? Like maybe it's just a weird flex that he's doing.
So half of 13 million paid in Bitcoin, so that's 7.5 or 6.5.
So that might just be an odd flex that he's trying to, I don't need cash. I could be paid in Bitcoin.
Right. Well, is it? I don't know. Like it could.
I thought it was weird, man. Like, why would you just take the fucking money and buy your own Bitcoin?
I mean, you could do that, right?
What's the difference?
I don't know what the difference is. You don't really. That's
there
a good question.
There literally is no difference.
What's the last story in the NFL?
The Browns have, and excuse my language, well, I've been swearing on podcasts. The Browns have fucked themselves because they might not make the playoffs. All they had to do was beat the Jets. All I had to do to hit my parlay on Sunday was for the Browns to beat the Jets. Didn't happen. I hope the Browns miss the playoffs.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, but all they had to do was beat the Jets and they would have clinched. And now their odds are down to like 45%, I think. So well done, Browns.
All right. NBA?
That's you, my guy.
This sucks for the Nets because, they've had such a strong start to the season. We have a couple episodes coming out with my friends about predictions, which I'm really excited for. But Spencer Dinwiddie is a really key asset, like 6th man of the year potential, but now is down and out for probably the rest of the season. That I know you don't watch too much, but Spencer Dinwiddie, have you heard much about him?
I know he's a good player.
Yeah, right. So Spencer Dinwiddie has 6th man of the year potential this year, especially because of the lineup that Brooklyn will have. But now he's hurt, right? So not only does this do impact for him personally, but the Nets themselves, right? Like that's huge. Like he kind of carries the bench mob, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If the Raptors had a bench mob and Fred VanVleet carried it, I think Spencer Dinwiddie was the carrier of the Nets bench mob. So, they're going to have to spread out a little bit more leadership now.
Right.
In terms of I mean, give them a couple weeks to see how it affects their playing style. But so far, they're kind of routing teams. You know a little bit more about this than I do, but Kevin Love covered the lost wages in the coronavirus for the workers, which we saw something to do with Mark Cuban did that. So what was this one?
Okay, so this story's kind of weird because I've heard, or not heard, I've read stuff that he did do this, but I've also seen stories that it's been retracted by reporters. So I'm going to go at this two ways. If he did do it, good for him. Well done. If he didn't do it and somebody made it up, why are you making that up?
It's pretty harsh, actually. Wow, I didn't know that angle.
Yeah, no, I wrote it down and put it in there because I still think it's a good talking point. Like, why would somebody make up that story?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that you said it was made up or not. It's just the story.
No, I didn't. I saw this like literally this morning. So, but I was like, I still want to talk about it, made up or not, because NBA players have been doing stuff like this. Mark Cuban, I know he's not a player, but he's an owner, was kind of the one headmanning this, because I remember that when they first went into their lockout, like back, what was it, March 12th or something?
Right away. Yeah,
his first interview, he was like, "Oh, I'm just worried about like our workers and the staff and security. Like, what are they gonna do?" And like that kind of hit home and just kind of showed sometimes it is more about sports, and like there are people that care. So I would like to think that Kevin Love did do this, but if the reporter that made it up, if they did make it up, that's trash, man.
That is trash.
Right? So hopefully we get some clarity on that.
Something that's definitely not made up. 76ers president Daryl Morey said some stupid stuff around a year ago, or like about a situation that he shouldn't have necessarily touched on. Do you know more about that?
Yeah, so there was an anniversary tweet put out by the NBA, and the owner of the 76ers quote tweeted it and said something. He pretty much was like, "Oh, it would great to have a guy like this on our team."
No. So I think what I saw was that he, as the Philadelphia 76ers, whatever he was, president, GM?
Owner, president, yeah.
President. So there was a thing on his Twitter, on the NBA's Twitter, it was like a throwback. James Harden drops career 44-point triple-double. And it was a picture. And it was like of him in a Rockets uniform doing history. And then he retweeted it. He just retweeted it with like a little caption saying like, "Wow, like this is great stuff." Like as the Philadelphia 70s, like you cannot promote another player, superstar like that. So
well, they got fined 50 G's for tampering.
Nick Young goes to China. At least he gets to play basketball now. We don't really hear much about him anymore. It's not like he's a make or break NBA star. So
do you think he'll do well over there?
No, he likes the attention. I think he wants to be in America and play basketball around his family and friends, and especially because he is what he is. He's Swaggy P, right? Swaggy P in North America. Maybe
he can come join the CBL.
CEBL, dude. I think he'd love that because he can smoke up here without worrying about it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, he has some drug history.
Right.
Whatever. Besides the point, MLB, the San Diego.
So there's a lot going on in the MLB, and not a lot of it is like, there's a lot of reports. I don't know how much has been confirmed. I don't know what is official, but Snell is moving from the Tampa Bay Rays to the San Diego Padres in what is probably one of the biggest moves in pitching wise. I'm sure we all remember Snell was yanked early from one of the games in the World Series when he was having a great game. But he is on his way to San Diego. And just when we thought San Diego was done, they were not done. Because then they went out and acquired Yu Darvish. So they grabbed two aces off the bat. They're not messing around. And that kind of, they're making moves, but nobody else in the MLB is. Like usually we see a lot of moves by now. The Jays have been rumored to be making moves. Like nobody's done anything. I think that's because nobody knows what's going to go on next season. Like I've seen reports that a 162 game season is not reasonable, which means you have to cut back on money again, all that stuff. It's like, guys, like somebody make their mind up here in the MLB. Also, did you see this MLB lawsuit?
What was that about?
The MLB are suing 3 insurance companies for $3 billion because they have an act of God clause with them, and the insurance companies are pretty much saying no. But
And the act of God would be the coronavirus pandemic.
it would be I forget what an act of God like definition is.
Well,
but
an act of God is an unforeseen circumstance that you
right.
can't.
Yes, a pandemic would it wouldn't. The definition.
A pandemic is what? Yeah, it falls under that. It's like natural disaster, pandemics.
No, the definition wouldn't be coronavirus, but it'd be an act of like
pandemic, a world pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah. So they are covered for $3 billion, but the insurance companies are like, "No, we're not doing this." So
this will be this will be something that breaks throughout the next couple of weeks, especially because the MLB needs their money.
That's a huge lawsuit. That's gonna be years.
Right. Okay, but I mean, like in the public eye, maybe you'll hear about it more soon.
So there's a lot going on in the MLB, but there's also not a lot going on in the MLB. There's no movement, but there is movement outside of the teams, like money-wise and $3 billion. So it's like, I just kind of want to see my Jays on TV again, get the, opening day baseball. It's always nice at like 3:00, you're done work early, you come home, crack a beer, watch the Jays pitch at 4:07. It's nice, but maybe we won't be getting that this year.
Wow. How about we take this down to the top 5?
And I can convert this for you, because in baseball, you have walk-up songs. And a walk-up song could be considered a pump-up song. So we're going to talk about our top 5 pump-up sports pregame, however you want to consider it, songs. So songs you will listen to before a big sporting event. You ready?
So how do you want to do this? Pick for pick?
Let's do it like last time. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1.
All right. Sounds good.
You want to start us off?
Okay, I'll start us off then. Number 5 is a little bit, I can't say anything. It's personal. So Sum 41, Screaming Bloody Murder.
Oh.
My eyes raised just because it's a aggressive name, but it is like this metal kind of rock that me and my friends who played junior hockey too definitely vibe with for some reason. And it's very mental.
I like it. So my top 5, my music taste is all over the place. I like hardcore dubstep. I like EDM. I like some country, not a lot of country, rap. I'm all over the place. But my number 5 is come in, a Canadian EDM group by Adventure Club. The song is called Crave You. I've listened to that since I was young, like before games. It's a really good song, really good pump up song. It kind of like deep bass lines, nice breakdown. Just kind of gets me in the mindset before a big game.
Number 4, I have something you can't go wrong with. I got introduced to when I was playing AAA Bulldogs midget year. Meek Mill, Wins and Losses. You really can't go wrong with it. Anything in that song gets you hyped up, especially the words and the beat.
Right. My number 4 is also Meek Mill, but featuring Tory Lanez. We're going to go with Liddy. I love this song because it kind of just builds and all of a sudden just drops heavy bass line, gets you Liddy for the game. No, that's a good, any Meek Mill song before a game is good, but Liddy just kind of hits different before a big game.
All right, at number 3, I got something by 3 Days Grace called Pain. 3 Days Grace has a lot of things. I could put a whole top 5 list in terms of pump up, but they are just punch to the ear, bleeding in your ear type of music before you go out. Just kind of numbs your soul and you don't even feel anything, especially for hockey. You put some hard stuff like there and you really are, you're just ready to bang through a wall.
Right. So my number 3 is going to be a song called Strobe by Deadmau5. It's a 10-minute and 30-second song. Has absolutely no energy to it, and it just kind of takes you out of your own head. And it's really good to kind of just focus and be like, okay, this is what I gotta do. Like, it was probably, it didn't get me pumped up the most, but it was probably my most listened to song before a game. And that's Strobe by Deadmau5.
I hear you. Coming in, we're getting close. I got number 2. This one's by Jack Harlow. There's a lot by Jack Harlow, but it's called Out Front. It's kind of, it puts you in the zone where you're the main character and you're the person who's got to make the moves and people are relying on you, kind of your existence for big plays, special plays. People are waiting on you. It's kind of what's called out front, because he's, people are waiting on him out front. He's kind of taking his time, doing him.
This is number 2, right?
That was my number 2, Out Front by Jack Harlow.
Number 2 for me is, so in a pump-up song, what do you like? You like yelling, yeah?
Yes, check mark.
You like screaming?
Potentially, yes.
You like swearing? You like bass lines? I'm going to go with a song that checks all 4 of these, and that is I'm on a Boat by The Lonely Island featuring T-Pain. Song it gets the boys going. You don't have to listen to this by yourself, but if you put this on in the change rooms, it gets the boys buzzing. So I'm on a Boat by The Lonely Island at number 2. What's your number 1 song?
So this one is kind of got thrown into the mix today, but it might shock your eyes a little bit, but we got Split by Tiesto, definitely at number 1.
Well, did you listen to that in the last 5 minutes and make your mind up?
No. When some part of your memory gets unlocked as if someone put a key in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like the words and the song was on my tongue today. I got reintroduced to the words, and that is exactly what I always listen to. It wasn't necessarily I'm fibbing it, but that song with those, now that I know it, I could tell you how many games I listened to it and what I scored and just the feeling they give you. And you're right, Samantha mentioned that there's not many words, so you just get to feel yourself in that song.
Yeah, right. So my number 1, I think this will hit well with you as well, and that's Forever with probably 4 of rap's biggest names: Eminem, Lil Wayne, Drake, and Kanye West. This song was played every day before. It would be our walkout song when I played. That was our high school song. It was our goals. It was everything. Like, this song was played everywhere, and that's Forever. When Eminem spits his stuff in that last verse, it's ready to go. So that's Forever by Eminem and Lil Wayne, Drake, and Kanye West is my number 1.
Let us know what you guys think. You don't have to give us a whole top 5, but if you want your top 2 or your most listened to pregame song, we do top 5s to hear what everyone else has to think as well.
Tell us why we're wrong. You got any honorable mentions there?
There's so many honorable mentions. Cinderella Man by Eminem.
Oh, nice one. I got a couple. I got Welcome to Detroit by Trick and Eminem. The man who wrote our theme song for us, Meek Mill and Big Sean, Burn. That's a good one, but I thought that was kind of too on the nose. Frequency by Jaws, Adventure Club, and Kylie Pavone. Holiday by Green Day is a good one. I got a couple others here. Life is Good, Future and Drake. Your Fault, Excision Slander, and Wicked Ways by Dubs and Stella Rio. Those are also on my pre-game half an hour before the game mix. So.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah, it was. This was a fun one, man. The interview went well. Our discussion was good. I enjoyed it. So, in case you didn't catch the announcement earlier, January 4th, we will be joined by not just the women's hockey icon. I don't want to say that. Hockey icon Digit Murphy will be joining us. She'll be on the podcast. We're going to
coach of the Toronto Six and previously interviewed Samantha Ridgewell.
Right, coach of the Toronto Six. We're hoping to get some more NWHL players, man. Even just women hockey players. If you want to come on and talk hockey with us or any sport whatsoever, come on, message us. We will always have people on because honestly, half the time, Brandon and I don't know what we're talking about. So it'd be good to have an actual athlete on who's playing in a league. Because right now we're on lockdown and the only sport I play is walking my dog, and I would be in last place for that. So let's get everybody that we can on the show. Literally anybody. So, but yes, January 4th, Digit Murphy will be on. We are super excited about that. She's a hockey icon, coach of the Toronto Six. And we got a lot to talk to her about. So we thank her in advance for her time because we already know it's going to be amazing.
You should put the clip right after this.
Yes.
Of what we made. What you made.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay. Also, I got one more thing. Kind of on a sad note. You don't look so sad. WWE and AEW wrestler John Huber unfortunately passed away at the age of 41. It would be a disgrace not to mention this, so we just want to send our thoughts and prayers to him and his family. He passed away of a lung complication that was non-COVID related, so our thoughts and prayers are with his family. On that note, it was kind of sad, but sorry. We will see you on, when we do it, Friday?
Yeah, sure.
We'll see you Friday. Love you. I just realized Friday's New Year's Day, so we'll see you Saturday, but I do still love you.